going back to like the independent side of things, because yeah, a lot of people I think would use the case study of, no pun intended, of Matthew, Jordan, Danny, and saying if they can do it independently, and even Chance and Pat at that time,
Yeah,
they were massive. They were
they were
leaders
huge.
in that.
Right.
But like a lot of people, I think, got the ideas like, well, yeah, they can do it. Anybody can do it and get to that level of success. But I don't think people realize how much fucking work
They have no idea.
that takes to be at that level.
Right.
And it's not to say that you can't do it. You can't, because, you know, at that point, the business is completely democratized. You upload a record, it's $9.99 to put it up on an aggregator through TuneCore or CD Baby or whatever, and it gets on every single DSP.
Right.
But there's so much more to it than that, right? You guys are actually a record label, but you're just an independent record label at this point. And there's different pieces to this. Talk about those pieces that you guys had to build. And even if you can, and if you don't mind sharing, it's like, how did you structure the business for like somebody that's coming up? Like, what's the best way to structure it for people that are coming up to make sure that they have, you know, a fair share in this whole thing?
Yeah, I mean, I think just to start, I think a lot of the conversations that I had with other managers during our time, because obviously, you know, we were independent and we, you know, shouted from the rooftops.
I've never heard him so soft-spoken in my life, by the way. All of a sudden, he got like the most soft-spoken. Yeah, he's just
very well.
It's the lights and everything.
Independence is sexy, bro. What can I say? But I feel like a lot of the conversations I was having with them was being like, yeah, like people hear independence, but it's like it's such a wide term, it's such a broad term.
Right.
There's levels to independence. Like,
go through the levels.
You could be an independent artist signed to an independent label that has support through distribution. You can be
through a major distribution.
Through a major, or even just like, you know, like an indie.
Yeah.
You know, there's like also companies like, you know, AWOL, where it's just like, you know, that offer you major label services or artist services, label services, where it's just like, yeah, you're independent, like you own your music, but it's like you're not quite like ground level independence, as I call it. Which again, and there's no right or wrong. I think you have to do whatever's best for yourself and for your business and for your team. We were like TuneCore level independence. Where it's just like, there's no artist services or label services. We are the label. So literally you talk about pieces. It's like, okay, we're managing. We're also making the music, which technically you don't have to do if you're independent. You can have a producer, but we happen to be producers first. So we're managing, so we're making the music, we're managing. Jordan's handling marketing and promotion. We have a creative team that handles all the creative assets, videos, everything's in-house.
That's Sean Brown and Kayvon.
Sean Brown, Kayvon, and then earlier was Liam.
Shout out to them.
Shout out to them. And then when it comes time to releasing, setting it up, teeing it up, making sure all the DSPs get it, then hitting the DSPs to make sure that, you know, like our people there, our point people there to make sure that they know that the music is coming so we can activate. It's like, yeah, we're uploading and then we're messaging everybody individually being like, hey, we just uploaded it. Do you see it in the system? Do you have and with enough time to really activate within, you know, the company? All those things we're doing literally
Well, when
ourselves.
you're saying you're messaging people individually, you're messaging your partners at Apple, your partners at...
And then later on at Spotify, people who were just like, yo, we're invested at this point.
Yeah.
We're invested at this point. Please let us know when new music is coming. And so we're maintaining those relationships ourselves at the labels. Like, they talk to those people every single day. You just say, here's the song. They take care of everything else. With us, it's like we're handling the label side and then also the creative side and the musical side. We're also managing. Down to, okay, it's time for live performance. We're also managing his touring business. I'm putting together the shows. Jordan's doing the creative for the shows. Like literally every single part and every single facet of Daniel Caesar's career and business, we all collectively were doing. Mind you, we're all talking about everything. So it's not like, you know, we're taking the range of doing what we want. It's like everything is communal. We're all talking about all decisions, touring, what cities to do, what does the poster look like, you know, no, that font's too small, make it bigger, they can't see that, X, Y, Z. Everything is being discussed. It's just like we would all, depending on what it was, be the person leading the conversation or the face of that part of the business.
How involved is Daniel in these conversations?
He's at the heart of every single one.
Yeah.
Because he says yes or no.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's like, hey, we think we should do it. No, that doesn't feel right. And again, to Jordan's point earlier, it's just like his gut was almost never wrong. You know what I mean? It was him who was just like, we have such an interesting team. And again, I say all this to say, it's like, if you're going to be ground level independence, you have to have a team like how we had. Because think about it, if you don't have the support of an indie label or a company like an AWOL or a major who's going to be doing those things? And so that's why I don't ever really fault an artist for doing business that makes the most sense for them. Even if it's a shitty deal, unfortunately, it's like if that is what got you to the next deal that you were able to make, that was better business for you, then you had to do that. Otherwise, imagine saying no to a deal because it isn't the greatest, but you have no team to do anything else. You can't release music. Doesn't make sense. So a lot of people felt that we were also anti-major label.
Right.
And we, to be clear, we weren't.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, we feel like there are issues, at least myself. I feel like there are issues.
Oh, man, I could tell you all about all the fucking
100%. I will not shy away from saying that. But at the same time, I understand that it's necessary for certain artists that don't have a team like how we built to be able to do things the right way as we saw it ourselves. And I think it also became, like you kind of hit a point where we had the luxury of having a hit going into a lot of the meetings that we went into in terms of labels wanting to sign us. Not every artist has that.
Yes.
So because of that, we were already making money.
Yeah.
So we you can also do like a little calculation and say, okay, offers are coming in. So it hits a point where it's like, it's bad business. Like, why would I lose money to sign to you to do something that we're already doing? So it's like, it has to also make sense dollars and cents wise. So once we started seeing the money that was coming in that would typically go to the label that artists wouldn't see, you would see it on your accounting statements and you'd see a little piece that you get unrecouped, essentially. Once we started to see the amount of money that was coming in, that would typically just go to a label.
Had the same thing.
We were like, wait, like, why would we sign again?
Yeah.
Because it's like, what you're offering us to sign, we're going to make in 6 months. And then I'm going to keep making.
Yeah.
So it's like, why would I make this back in 6 months and then you get your piece off of this when we're already getting it? So we had to have a lot of conversations. So it was a combination of Daniel being like, I don't think this makes sense. I trust our team. Our team is so rare. Not many artists have this. Let's bet on ourselves was literally the exact words that he said. Let's bet on ourselves. And then it was also like Apple support coming in.